I'm here with Paul Harris, Roger Green here, and we just attended the International Cold Fusion Conference here in Japan with Bob Greenyer. And as you know, the Alchemy of Prague is in two parts. Part one is more the alchemy, and this year we're going to be doing the Fungi Kingdom, which I'm going to interview Paul about. And then part two is the advanced energy systems with Paul and Bob Greenyer and Dr. Jan Reich from the Czech Republic. And when you look at the program, it's flexible. We have a field day, we have a river cruise. You can pick and choose if you want to just come to part one or come to part two. Otherwise, you can just do the complete program, which begins September the 19th at 1 o'clock at the Prague clock. And at 1 o'clock, we give you a little esoteric tour with Eva. I've been putting on the Alchemy of Prague for over 10 years. I think this is about the 7th one. Yeah. We started off with Vincent Bridges quite a few years ago. And Paul and I have done about 4 or 5 of these Alchemy of Prague. And each year, each time we do it, there's a different theme. We've never repeated. In the past, we've done the alchemy of cannabis, we've done rosemary, we've done several herbs, and Paul sets up an old-fashioned alchemy distillation lab in the basement of what we call the Edward Kelly Tower, which is where the famous alchemists John Dee and Edward Kelly in the 1500s did their famous alchemical experiments under the sponsorship of Rudolf II, Emperor Rudolf II, who at the time supported a lot of alchemists into Prague. So Prague's a magical city. We always have a lot of fun. So September the 19th is a Friday evening, and that evening is when we kick into the Fungi Kingdom with Paul, and the next 2 days with the lab we'll be making plant medicines. But what's unique about this, you see, is the old alchemists actually didn't use fungi. You know, they used a lot of minerals, animals, and plants. But this year, we're going to be doing the Fungi Kingdom, which Paul Harris is an absolute expert. In fact, he's just finished making a huge fungi farm and production center in Canada. So Paul, tell us a little bit about what's unique about what we're up to in the Alchemy of Prague this year, particularly with the Fungi Kingdom.
Yeah, but this year we'll be going out and actually doing some wild crafting, and hopefully we'll find some nice mushrooms. It's going to be weather dependent, but we'll have everything prepared ahead of time. And what we're actually going to do is make a spagyric tincture from the mushrooms themselves, which is not really been done
it's quite unique.
To my knowledge.
There's no references to this.
Right, yeah. And there's a lot of spagyric tinctures that we've worked on over the years with various different plants and that, but this time we'll look at doing applying the same alchemical principles, extracting the sulfur, the salt, and the mercury from the fungi themselves, which will be really
so the spagyric process.
Yeah, spagyric process.
It's very powerful medicine, folks.
Which essentially means that we are taking it apart, separating the body, the spirit, and the soul of the mushroom itself, and then recombining it back together into what ends up being like a liquid crystal, very powerful, concentrated medicine.
Oh, interesting.
And we'll probably work with probably reishi and lion's mane.
Right. And so we're also going to be doing some unique things with the Fungi Kingdom in the sense of kind of like music and technologies and all sorts of funky things,
So what's happening these days with mycology and fungi in general is all kinds of technological advancements and products and things are coming. Everything from material sciences to biological
and we're getting our beautiful Japanese food delivered here. We've been in food heaven
Incredible.
For the last 10 days.
Yes, the food has been amazing. So there's all kinds of technologies involved with the fungi kingdom that we're going to be looking at too, and have some examples of that.
And so it's going to be a bit of a spectacle also, you know, with, you know, kind of music and sort of what I call tapping into the nervous system of planet Earth, which is the fungi kingdom.
And of course, we'll look at some of the shamanic traditions over the years and how mushrooms have been used in various shamanic type traditions.
And we'll teach people how to grow some mushrooms themselves. You know, just
we'll look at growing in home, growing in home in your home kitchen, all the way up to an industrial scale. We'll show how the processes are done. Yes.
And then, of course, part 2 is with Bob Greenyer and Jan, and we're going to Jan's lab where there's a lot of equipment. We can do a series of experimentations involving, you know, what we call the toroidal fractal moments, you know, this whole idea of, you know, energy and matter, matter and energy, the interface. I've called this the ancient alchemy and the future alchemy. So we start with the ancient alchemy, but it's the same principles of transmutation that we can use in modern technology to advance us into a new paradigm of energy production. And really, Bob Greenyer, Paul, and a number of 1 or 2 other people really on the cutting edge, way ahead of the game in terms of, you know, creating low energy nuclear reactions, transmutations. So tell us a little bit. We've done some interviews before, but just tell us a little bit about.
So what we're going to be able to do with that, and you can bring your own materials if you'd like to bring a piece of copper or aluminum, bring some of your own materials, and we'll show you how to do transmutations on that weekend. And we're going to have a scanning electron microscope there, so we'll be able to look at your samples and tell you exactly what elements are on there, and if it's, you know, 99.999% copper, let's say, you know, you'll look at it and see it's pure copper. We'll do the transmutations, and then we'll put it back in the SEM, and you'll be able to see new elements appear before your very eyes. And we'll show you how to do that.
So you really need to understand this notion of nature does transmutations all the time. Mainstream science, they're in completely denial about this.
Well, they believe everything was created in the Big Bang.
There you go. And it's sort of static. And nothing transmutes.
Nothing's ever changed.
So, but we're also going to have the Therapy device there. For those who don't know it, the Therapy is an absolute revolutionary plasma healing device. It's been on the market for over 10 years. There's over 25 international Therapy centers. So we're going to have the Therapy there, and we're going to be playing with the Therapy in that workshop as well. And Paul's going to be talking about the Teslatron, the quantum reactor, all these new technologies that you're working on. And final words, Paul?
Well, sounds like it's going to be a really good time, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there.
And the food is good. The beer is the best beer in the world, and it's very cheap, and good wine. And, you know, so we always have a lot of fun.
So bring your questions, and I know there's a lot of people. What's happening in our conscious evolution right now is we're on this tipping point where we're right on the verge of, you know, shedding away this old paradigm way of thinking in there as evolution of consciousness, and this is a big part of it. So come on down and let's get on with it.
We'll see you there.
See you there.